Hey guys, so this is Vlogmas Day 18. I do have on clothes. I have on a fat sucker and a undershirt. So question and answer time. That's what I'm going to talk about. So I did get a few questions, not a lot, but a few. So I want to answer those because I promised I was going to. So Lindsay Cooks asked, if you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? What would it be? I probably should have thought about this better. Are we talking like weight loss surgery friendly or not? So maybe I'll answer it both ways. Okay. If I could eat one meal for the rest of my life, what would it be? Probably dressing. My mom's dressing is my most favorite thing in the whole world. I love it. Actually, I really like squash dressing also. So yeah, dressing, some kind of dressing. Not stuffing. My mom's dressing. If it is weight loss surgery friendly, it would probably be I really like and it's funny because this is not what I would have told you. I really like the Boca veggie burgers. They're my favorite. I also like the chicken ones too. And if you cook those in a skillet with a little coconut oil and they heat up just right, they are yummy, super delicious. And so probably one of those with cheese on it, maybe. I don't know. I really like those. I really like those. Okay. I don't know about for the rest of my life. I don't know. I'm also really sad because our Walmart quit carrying that brand. They're only doing the Morningstar. I don't like Morningstar that well. Okay. How did you decide on the name Oz? Well, okay, first of all, I do have an obsession with Judy Garland. I don't know if you knew that about me, but I do. But that is not why he's named Oz. I also really like The Wizard of Oz, but everybody thinks that I have an obsession for Wizard of Oz, and that it doesn't help because I named my son Oz. That's false. I have an obsession with Judy Garland. I know random facts about her, and I love her. But my husband's granddad's name was Osler something Simmons. And we had decided that we were going to name him Osler and call him Oz. But I really hated Osler. I did not like it. And I know a lot of people who name their kids and then just call them something else. And Oz is sort of short for Osler, but we just kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And so my husband's name is Edward Franklin. And his mom and his family, I'll call him Edward. Well, he had been living in Martin for like 8 years when I met him. And like people that he grew up with in high school or, elementary, high school and stuff, most of them call him Edward. Most of them. Except like if they're friends with him on Facebook or like if they continue to be friends with him through life, they all have shortened it to Ed. So if I'd ever grown up with him, fine, I would call him Edward. But I can't stand it. He can't stand it. And, he's Ed. His mom is a super stickler about that, and when she meets people for the first time, including myself, she tells you that she named him Edward for a reason, and that she never wanted him to be Ed. And, I mean, it's a short version. Whatever. She even told me that she named him Edward for a reason, and that the woman who married him was going to call him Edward. Well, that was false. And I wouldn't do it just out of spite, because that pissed me off. But anyways, and I'm not even a mean person most of the time. So, long story short, too late for that, I know. But that's basically why we decided to do Oz instead of Osler. I knew my mother-in-law would call him Osler. Ed did too. And we just didn't want him to deal with that. And we both really liked Oz. And so, most of the time, when I'm talking to him, I say Ozman or Ozzy or Oz Morgan, which is his middle name. So, yeah, that's it. And Morgan, even though you didn't ask, was my grandmother's maiden name. So, okay. Loving the Dead 27. She asked, if you had to go back, would you do the surgery again? Any regrets? Oh, yeah. I'd absolutely do it again. Regrets, yes. I would wait longer to introduce any kind of carb. And I would have not let myself go so much during pregnancy. Toward the end, I just started eating whatever I wanted. And I'm basically doing that today. And I had really started doing that in maintenance. I mean, not maintenance, but when I was 180, I was kind of doing that too, which is another reason why I probably wasn't losing the weight I was. And I wasn't getting sick, and I was staying really healthy, but I was also working out all the time, so it was fine. I don't have time for that now as much, and so it is not okay now. And it was not okay when I was pregnant. I mean, I walked when I was pregnant, but that's about it. Okay. She also said, did you find it hard taking care of a youngster at the beginning of your surgery? So I didn't have Oz when I got surgery, but I will tell you, I don't know if you've watched my channel for very long, but I am super duper close to my best friend's kids, Cash and Kami, and they are mine. I lived with Bree for a year while Ray was in Iraq, and that included Cash coming into the world. Sorry, I call Cash Oz and Oz Cash constantly. And so I lived with them. So I felt like I had my own baby. I still feel like Cash is my firstborn. I know I didn't give birth to him, but it doesn't matter. And so right after I had surgery, I tell you what, I almost didn't have surgery because of them. Because I just kept thinking if I died, they would never know how much I loved them. And, you know, how would somebody explain to them the reason that I had surgery? Because they were so little. And, yeah. So, listen, I even wrote letters to Cash and Kami before surgery. I also wrote letters to my cousin Face for kids also. And they're on my computer. I ran across them the other day and I got so tickled. But just reminders of why I did it, the surgery, and my hopes and dreams for them, and how much I love them, and, you know, some of the fun things that we used to do, and blah, 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 blah. But I will also tell you that right after surgery, I immediately wanted to see them after I got home. Of course, I stayed one night in the hospital, then I was ready to see them, and I didn't feel good, and I was hurting, but Bree did not. Kami was 2, maybe, at the time. Yeah, 2. And Bree kept saying, I'm not bringing them to the house. I'm not bringing them to your house. No, she wasn't 2. She was fixing to be 2. I had surgery April 26th, and she turned 2 on May 3rd. But I begged for her to bring them to me, and she did. And she was freaking out. She didn't want them to climb on me because she knew I was hurting and sore. And, you know, she didn't, you know, you have to be careful not to pull anything and, you know, cause injury. Well, she wouldn't let me pick them up, but she did let them sit in my lap. So things like that. So you have a 3-year-old. I think that's what I wrote down. So I definitely think it's 100% doable, especially if your child's 3. But I think there's definitely things you have to be careful about. And I would definitely not be lifting them. And I would let somebody else let you put them in their lap and love on them and hold them. And I do think, I don't know how often you're away from your child, but, you know, I even think it might be a good idea for them to stay away for just a couple of days after surgery, or stay somewhere else. I mean, I don't know what kind of help you have. I think they'll be really beneficial. And you know, it was, again, they didn't live with me, but I was super close to them, and, you know, for a couple days, it was super hard not to just scoop them up and love on them like I always had. So I definitely think that's things to take in consideration, but I don't think I will let it stop me from doing the surgery. Okay, guys, well, as always, I'm an open book, so if you just think of a question, you have one, you can email me, or message me on Facebook, or, you know, put it in the comments below. All right, have a great day. Bye.